unified WBC, WBA, and IBF world champion at 154 pounds, Jermell Ironman Charlo, takes to social media to hint at a possible return to the ring to defend his belts in summer of this year. We're going to speak about that in this video. Welcome back to the channel, people. I hope you're all doing well. Of course, it's your boy Budge here, and you're tuned in to Talk to Budge. You're more than welcome. But before we proceed, you've got to wipe your feet. And by that, I mean, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, sign up to all notifications. So whenever a new video drops, which is on a daily basis, you're always the first to find out about it. Of course, as you might know already, we are starting this platform from scratch, from the ground up. And so in building, I need your support. I need your help. I need you to share it with your friends, your WhatsApp group chats, your email chains at work. I need you to help me spread the word of Talk to Budge. And of course, ultimately, this platform was established so I could share my point of view, but also for you to share yours as well. So I want to know what you think, what your thoughts are. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you have a different opinion? Let me know in the comments. Let's keep the dialogue going. Let's talk to Budge, okay? Now, the topic of this video is unified world champion at 154 pounds, Jermell Charlo, Jermell Ironman Charlo, and the fact that he recently took to social media to announce that he was going to be returning back to the ring in July. So he basically said in his tweet that he fight news coming soon and announcements coming soon for a potential fight in summer of this year, which I believe is going to be sort of July, August times. And he also said that he just needs to basically decide on a venue for this fight. Now, of course, Jermell is his older brother, of course. Jermell Charlo is the unified world champion at 154 pounds. He has a WBC belt, which he has held for quite some time. And in his last fight against Jeison Rosario, he won both the WBA and IBF world titles. Some of you might remember that fight and how it ended. He stopped Jeison Rosario, but it was probably one of the most surprising, shocking stoppages that we've seen in a long time. Just the way that, you know, he went about stopping him. It was a shot to the body, but it was like Jeison Rosario was like convulsing on the floor on the canvas, and it was like, wow, like at first you think, did that punch really affect him that much? But you know, he says that it basically, you know, took the wind out of him ultimately, and he couldn't really breathe properly. And so with that stoppage, Jermell Charlo became unified with 3 out of 4 belts. And what made that stoppage win over Jeison Rosario even more impressive was the fact that Jermell Charlo beat the man who beat the man who beat the man. So if you think back and rewind back, it was actually Jarrett Hurd who had the unified titles. He had a WBA and the IBF after beating Arislandi Lara. And then he lost in the next fight to Jarrett Hurd, who then took the belts off him. And then Jeison Rosario stopped J-Rock Williams. So Jarrett Hurd had the belts first. Then he was beat by Julian Williams, J-Rock Williams. And then Julian Williams was beat by Jeison Rosario. I hope that I haven't confused you. I hope that all makes sense. But yeah, so ultimately, Jermell Charlo beat the man who beat the man who beat the man, right? And he beat him in impressive fashion. He stopped him ultimately. And Jermell Charlo has a record of 34-1 with 18 knockouts. And the one loss that he does have, which was against Tony Harrison, is a debatable loss because, I mean, some people didn't have Tony Harrison winning that fight. I certainly didn't when I watched it back. I think Jermell Charlo won that first fight. However, in the rematch, he avenged the loss, won his belt back, and did so via stoppage, which is the best way that you can win the rematch after losing the first fight on the scorecards. Now, Jermell Charlo has a very, very impressive resume. So, of course, most recently, his win against Jason Rosario, who's the man who beat the man who beat the man. But he also has fought and beat Austin Trout, who we've seen get in the ring with his older brother, Jermall Charlo. And we've also seen him get in the ring with Canelo, amongst a few others. He stopped Erickson Lubin in the first round. Of course, Erickson Lubin is a guy who is highly rated at 154 pounds and who's actually worked his way back into contention for a world title fight again. He's got an impressive string of victories in recent fights, and he's now worked himself back into contention. And the interesting thing is, of course, the fact that when he did fight Jermell Charlo initially, a lot of people felt that he was too green, he was too young, he wasn't ready. Of course, he didn't feel that was the case, and a lot of people who were supporting him didn't think that was the case. And ultimately, it ended up being the case. You know, Jermell Charlo was just a little bit too much for him, caught him with a shot in the first round that he didn't see, and that was all she wrote. And of course, Jermell Charlo also has Vanes Martirosyan on his resume too, who has been around for a little while. I believe he fought Triple G recently, and he's got a few other names on his resume too. So, I mean, he's built up a solid little resume for himself at 154 pounds. I, for the life of me, can't understand why Jermell Charlo isn't on the pound for pound list, isn't on anyone's pound for pound list. He's got 3 out of 4 belts. And the rumor is that in his next fight, he's going to be fighting against Brian Castano, who is currently the WBO world champion at 154 pounds. Now, after Jermell Charlo unified against Jason Rosario, we saw the former holder of the WBO belt, Patrick Teixeira, come out on to social media and say that he wanted the fight and he wanted to go into that undisputed fight against Jermell Charlo, and he was going for that smoke. He wanted all of that smoke, so on and so forth, right? But to be honest, I wasn't too sold and wasn't convinced that that would be the case because of the fact that he is a Golden Boy fighter and fighting under the promotional banner of Oscar De La Hoya, and I just wasn't convinced that that would be the direction that Golden Boy would want to go in ultimately. Since then, he fought against Brian Castano and lost against Brian Castano, and so Brian Castano, who is, like I said, the WBO champion, who has a record at the moment of 17-0 with 12 wins coming by way of knockout. He is signed with the PBC, with Premier Boxing Champions, who is the same promotional outfit who Jermell Charlo is signed to. So, all things considered, that fight should be an easy fight to make. They're both on the same side of the street, as we so often hear that term in boxing. They're both on the same side of the street. So ultimately, that is a fight that we should absolutely see next. It's going to be Brian Castano's career highest payday, obviously. So there is no reason why we shouldn't see that fight happen next. And I'm very confident that we will. Of course, Jermell Charlo is a straight shooter. He's not someone who hides or bends the truth or is a liar or anything like that. He just says it how it is. You know, the way his approach is in general is just very, very, it is what it is. I am who I am, take it or leave it kind of thing. So with that being said, the fact that he's come out and he's spoken about the fact that that's obviously going to be the next move and that's what they're trying to aim for, tells me that things are moving in the right direction. And if his social media tweets are anything to go by, if he's, what he's releasing on social media, we should absolutely be seeing that fight come summertime, and it's absolutely what should be happening. We should be seeing a unified champion in every single weight division. Ultimately, we want to see one face, one champion, one name, like Deontay Wilder likes to say. And I am very confident that if this fight is agreed and signed off, then we will see an undisputed champion at 154 in Jermell Charlo. And at that point, if still he is on nobody's pound for pound list, then there's got to be questions being raised. There are some questionable people on that list at this moment in time. And so people who aren't champions, people who get like Vasily Lomachenko, for example, who was, of course, billed up to be the pound for pound #1 and the Matrix and the best thing we've seen since Sugar Ray Leonard and so many other fighters, Floyd Mayweather, so on and so forth. But he lost to Teofimo. So why he still is so high on the pound for pound list, I don't quite understand. And why fighters like Jermell Charlo, who's got all but one belt in his weight division and fought all comers, he's not ducked any fades, he's fought every one that's come his way, top opposition in the division, the best in the division. There's no reason why he shouldn't be on that pound for pound list. So ultimately, it's very, very positive. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm very encouraged by the fact that he took to social media to speak about it, because I feel like he's someone that's just very straightforward. He's a straight shooter. I don't think he's lying. I think it's very, very much in the works at the moment. And it's a fight that I want to see happen, because I want to see Jermell Charlo undisputed, and I want to see him getting the flowers that he deserves. He's an action fighter, come forward. He's always got something to say. He's great entertainment. And ultimately, like I said, I just want to be seeing unified champions in each of the weight divisions ultimately. And that's what us as boxing fans should be pushing for and should be clamoring for ultimately. But of course, nothing is set in stone just yet. It is just smoke or it is just rumors at the moment. You know, whether it happens or not, we have to wait and see. But I just like the fact that things are moving in a positive direction. And because ultimately I trust the kind of person that he is, I think it is a fight that we're going to see. And it makes sense completely. Like, all things are aligned in terms of the side of the streets and all of that kind of stuff. And so I think it is a fight that we're going to see. But that's my take on the matter. Very, very positive, very encouraging. Let's wait and see what happens. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think it is a fight that's going to happen? Are we going to see an undisputed champion at 154 pounds? Let me know what you think in the comments. Also, another reminder, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like button. Sign up for all notifications so you're always aware when a new video drops. And I'm going to catch you on the next video. Good, over and out.